I just realized that I knew that when I seen this list that there were certain movies that were missing, particularly Cars 2 and Cars 3 and Planes. And I think it's just because they were kind of outlier movies. And quite frankly, they would not have fit snugly compared to the other brackets.
There's also The Rescuers Down Under.
The Rescuers Down Under. That's exactly why I thought about it, because I was typing The Rescuers, and I was like, oh, wait, Down Under isn't on here.
And there's plenty of more that aren't on here.
Aristocats.
The Aristocats.
Apparently, I cannot spell hunchback. Hunchbank.
Hunchspank?
Hunchbank.
I know, I'm just being funny.
So, Damon, I have all of these Disney tags in, if you didn't notice. Yeah, like Treasure Planet Atlantis isn't on here.
Treasure Planet and Atlantis are in there.
Oh, what's the name of the second Treasure Planet?
Ooh.
I've never even seen it. I I actually thought it was Treasure Planet Atlantis. I thought that was the name of it.
I don't think there was a sequel. Well, this is theatrical, so. Make My Music isn't on that list, or Fun and Fancy Free or Melody Time.
Are those feature length though? Aren't those more like what do they call them?
Anthologies?
Short? No.
No, they're anthology features. So they were in the theater, but they were
featurettes.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking of.
No, they were anthologies. So it was one feature with multiple segments, kind of like Fantasia.
Yeah.
Or Song of the South.
I was just thinking that if that's the case, Fantasia shouldn't be on the list, but I think it's just because it's so well known.
Well, Fantasia 2000, the Tigger movie, Dinosaur, Recess, School's Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dinosaur isn't on here.
Disney feature films.
Jungle Book 2, Piglet's Big Movie.
We're good. Let's not worry about that.
Yeah. See, yeah, there's a shit ton of stuff, so it's not surprising that they're not all, that they didn't all make it.
Yeah.
Final for.
I almost wish I had some sort of April Fool's theme.
Nah. I was going to say, well, you can play the theme backwards, but that really doesn't work.
Well, also, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh.
I'm ready. I'm just gonna go top off my drink.
Okay.
See you in a sec.
I mean, I decide. La la la. It got very quiet.
Did you see the new Tumblr Bitcoin?
No.
Because if you are looking at your dashboard over on the right side, at least on mine, it has this like little Tumblr icon-ish thing that's like spinning. It's green. If you click on it, it says Tumblr Bitcoin.
I have seen that little thing. I just haven't clicked on it.
Yeah, I think it's like by doing stuff you earn Tumblr Bitcoins, which aren't actually real Bitcoins. Or
of course,
the like
coming off.
As we're streaming, everybody hears that. And they're like, damn it!
Alright, we're ready.
Damon, are you ready?
Yeah.
Gary, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's get ready to
do podcast. 3, 2.
That was so anticlimactic.
Actually, I think I'm going to start over. Because I did that mid, and like the response was like right as it was ending, so I couldn't convert quickly. So we're going to start that over again because I forgot to turn on the share sounds. Let's try that again. 3, 2. Just go with this. It's April 1st, 2018. I'm Jeff.
This room is a pigsty, and you're a dirty pig boy.
I'm Damon.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
I'm Chester.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
That makes him mute.
We can't hear you.
Even better, bitches. And that does not make me Gary.
And welcome to Outcomes something. I didn't do that right because I'm doing this in the spur of the moment. The Bear Podcast with a short length.
April Fool's Day.
It's
Aw, you tried.
Welcome to Loud Out Cubs.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Thank you. Loud Out Cubs. Length intermittent a podcast bear the.
Oh God, you are really stretching that.
It's backwards. April Fools!
Should we do this entire show backwards? I didn't even think about that. You can start off with our links. Okay. No. Not pre-planned.
Nope. You're not going backwards the whole thing. All right.
So that was the end of a quarter.
Yeah.
And it's like everything came to a full stop. Like on Thursday, there were some things to do. And I had everything with my butt covered. So anything that I did that when SDM told me to do, I had proof of. So they can't blame anything that went wrong on me. It was nice because they tried to blame me, but we just proved it because there was a couple tickets from SDM telling me to do it. So I was all
Okay.
It's like, ha! There's tickets! And then on Friday, it was like, it was an all stop. It's just anything that's already like going will go, but everything else just stop. Nothing new. So we had like a meeting to learn a new thing. Then I helped work on another new thing that we were doing starting this month.
Is it because it was the holiday weekend? Is that part of it? Or
no, it was just, it's the quarter end. So we were just trying to make numbers. Once we got those numbers, we just kind of stopped. Just kind of made sure we got everything else taken care of before the end of the quarter. So we weren't like continuously building stuff up. We just kind of like leveled out on how we were getting stuff taken care of. But because there was little for me to do, it was on that last day, it was like, I don't want to touch anything because I don't want to get in trouble for doing anything.
So you did nothing.
Yeah, so we barely did anything. We did stuff, but it wasn't like actual work. It was just kind of stuff to prepare for this month.
Work.
So, but other than that, like between all the two meetings we had and any of the interesting stuff, it was like nothing was really going on, which means I left 2 hours early because there was nothing going on. I swear I spent like 20 minutes talking to somebody if I got badged and could use my discount before any discounts to upgrade all the Apple products that I need upgrading, I would have to have like $3,030 and change.
Wow.
And that's a new phone, a new laptop, a new iPad, an Apple Watch, accessories. And that's not like if I got like a payment plan or something for the phone, like the iPhone upgrade kit or upgrade plan where it's like every year or two you could just upgrade the phone as long as you keep paying that monthly fee. Basically a leasing your phone. Which is kind of cool. So that was my basic calculations. I was then talking about getting a new Apple TV because I basically have the newest one, just not the 4K one because I don't have a 4K TV. If I did that, it would go over $4,000 because another $700 for a 4K TV and then another $150 or no, $179 for the 4K Apple TV. So, but we had a 20-minute talk about it because we could. There wasn't really anything else to do. So it was kind of a boring QE. So that's me. Damon?
Well, I finally got my taxes done.
Yay.
It's been a little while. There was an issue
before
back
tax
in, day.
You're fine.
Yeah, so it's good. So before I was ready to get my taxes done, and then I got noticed that my W2 was incorrect, so needed to get that taken or get one resent and then go from there. Yeah, it happens. It wasn't anything like wage wise. It was more to do with HSA, the health spending account, blah blah blah. So something like that.
Yeah.
And then so finally got that done. I'm good right now. And then I've mostly been getting ready for Men's Chorus concert, which will be this next weekend. So looking forward to. It's going to be a fun show. I have a solo. I'm looking forward to it. So yay. Chester.
Evan went home to North Dakota for a couple days, so I've been in the house by myself. I had plans of getting tons of shit done. Haven't done a damn thing. Except for go in debt. I have somehow accomplished doing that. I went and got my brakes fixed. I bought a new couch. And then my phone died today.
Ooh.
Like literally died. I can't even turn it on. Well, I can turn it on, but it says something about like booting system or something up the really super tiny letters, like 4-point font that I can barely read, and then all of a sudden it just goes off. So
have you never mind. I would say have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? But no.
Probably.
So Ready Player One came out last Thursday, and I went with a couple bears yesterday to go see it. And I loved the book for the most part. I didn't care for the guy's writing style, but I loved what he did in the book. And then the only reason why I read the book is because I saw the trailers for the movie ages ago, like when it first came out. And I'm like, that looks cool. I'm going to read the book. So then I watched the trailers again, and I've seen the little... What?
Having read the book.
Yes. I watched the trailer again after I read the book, and then also seen some of the like industry reviews on it and people pulling out certain parts of the movie. So going into the movie, that I knew that the premise compared to the book was going to be the same. The characters were going to be the same. After that, I wasn't sure how things were going to go. Like, and this isn't exactly spoiler because it is in the trailer. But in the trailer, one of the very first scenes that you see is this car race going on with, the DeLorean is very present in it, as well as the motorcycle from Akira, and there's Bigfoot and the Interceptor from Mad Max. Those are all very prominent cars that are in the trailer.
I thought that was.
And every time I watch the what?
I thought that was a light cycle from Tron.
No, it's red. It's the motorcycle from Akira. So when I'm watching the trailer, I'm like, there's no car race in that whole book. Where the hell does this car race fit in? And I was telling somebody earlier how detached the movie was, the plot line, compared to the book. And I remember sitting in the movie and constantly just like, this isn't right. Why are they doing this? This is wrong. It's not in the book. But then all of a sudden something happens in the middle of the race that made me go, oh my God, that's awesome. And then I just kind of stopped thinking about what happened in the book and just let the movie go. And I still thoroughly enjoyed it. So that was a lot of fun.
The book read by Will Wheaton is amazing.
I imagine it is. He seems to be a good candidate to read that book.
Will Wheaton. Also, like the Iron Giant in the movie, I don't remember what robot he had for in the book, but I think that had to do with rates or something like that. I think they wanted to do that, or trying to make it so that people understood it better because it was a little disconnected or something. I know Tracer from Overwatch shows up somewhere in there. Like somebody's avatar is Tracer?
I believe so. That would not surprise me because there were a bunch of people from what's the Xbox game, the first-person shooter, Halo. There's a whole bunch of people from Halo in it. So yeah, it was all around fun. If you are into gaming and geekiness and nerdiness and things of that nature, then it is right up your alley. Like, I'm the type of person that when I watch a movie, I look for certain things, like, oh, hey, they're in this particular city, and then I try and pick out little things to make it cohesive, and this movie does it pretty well, I think, because there's so many Easter eggs going on in the movie that make it really fun overall.
So you would say for this to kind of like, if you've read the book before, don't think of this as a book. This is a movie that has kind of the general same idea of the book.
Exactly.
It's not the same. And as long as you disconnect those two things a little bit, more if they're like parallel things.
The movie is very loosely based on the book.
Yeah. So don't worry about that. If you really like the book, just listen to the audio version read by Will Wheaton, which is amazing. Yeah. So I hear a lot of good things about the movie. Everybody I've heard of or else I've heard said it was really good. So once it comes out on iTunes, I'll probably get it. Anyway, sorry. Gary?
I did a emergency medicine ride along last night.
Ooh.
So Vince, a friend of mine and part of the COL entourage at large, who actually has been on the show in the past, he is a paramedic with a local company. And probably about a year and a half or 2 years now, he's been like, you should really come out like with me when we go out on streets and ride along. And I'm like, why? Well, because I don't plan on having a career in that field. And so I was like, okay. But I've had the time available recently. And I thought about it, and he had brought the paperwork. So we filled it out, and then there was sort of a delay getting it turned in. And then you have to schedule it in advance. And so it was either going to have to happen after the run, which actually probably wouldn't happen until May, or it was going to happen like now. So I thought maybe we go like middle of the week or maybe Friday night, but I think it was on Wednesday. He was like, hey, we're going Saturday night. Okay, then. So I went with him and his partner out on the streets last night for half their shift. It was interesting. It was insightful. My mom was an RN for 25 years, and I've known Vince for I don't know how many years now, and he's been like, you know, a volunteer fire department member and was an EMT, now a paramedic. And so I've always kind of been around this, so it wasn't anything, there was nothing crazy or outlandish or things that shocked me or surprised me. There was little things I was like, oh, I didn't know about that, and that's kind of interesting. And so, yeah, it was insightful. So, yeah, I'm not at liberty to really talk about anything that happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
It gave me a little bit of an education. I have one thing in specific that I think I can talk about. God damn it. That really bugs the shit out of me. So I grew up in this area, and in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we have always had, and apparently they don't work anymore, it's a long story, we've had something we call rattle lights. And what it is when you look at traffic lights up above, there is usually a white blinking light that would come on when emergency crews were coming through, and they had responders in their vehicles that they would trip, and so it would force lights to change quickly from whichever they were, so that way they could have a clear path getting through without having to stop for. Well, apparently in my fair city, the company that made them or operated them no longer exists or something, so they don't work, they don't use them. So that was my biggest aha and frustration and pissosity, was that we're driving through, and if the lights aren't in our favor and you're in a hurry, you have to drive quickly to the next red light and stop, and to the next red light and stop, and to the next red. It's kind of like everything becomes a stop sign. And
Wait.
like you can have the sirens going and stuff, but like you can't just plow through because you don't know if anybody's going to be coming from the other direction because they have green.
So basically, a stoplight becomes a stop sign.
Yeah. So I mean, you can play with the sirens all you want, but you can't just travel through. Like you don't get to trip the lights in your favor. So
Yeah.
I was really annoyed by that.
That seems weird. Anyway.
So my feeling on it is like if I was to run a political office, which I'm not planning on it by any means, but if I was going to, I'd be like, this shit needs to be fixed nationwide. To hell with that. Like,
yeah,
it's just crap. Because if someone really is in a life or death situation, the last thing you need is an ambulance like herky jerky, like a board game. You know, like one move at a time,
space at a time. Yeah,
one, trying to get to the hospital or something. It's just stupid. So
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So that was the only thing that I was just kind of like, oh, that was very revealing to me. So yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, yeah, that was kind of the thing I did, and it's Happy Keister, everybody. It's Easter. It's April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
April Fool's Day, and Christ has risen again.
Yep, just like the yeast. He's up at it again. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a spiritual person, so I just pissed off all the Catholics.
That's okay. We like the Keisters.
Yeah.
So, before we go into our next part, I wanted to say that I forgot to work on something this week. So we're playing what we played last week.
Now, whoever thought we'd be doing commercials?
I know I sure as heck didn't.
Being that we're a smaller scale podcast, we don't have advertisers knocking down our door to give us money, and that's okay.
Which is why we want to take a moment and tell you about two really great ways you can support Cubs Out Loud.
Over the past 9 years, COL has produced hundreds of audio episodes, and now we have matching video episodes for you to enjoy.
This year, we introduced the new COL logo and launched our new merch store over at Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud.
Or you can also use the COL merchandise link on our podcast website to pull up the online store.
Here you can take a look through a range of products, including t-shirts, hats, poker chips, underwear, backpacks, and various other things with the COL logo on them.
And keep an eye out for new things to be added based on your interests and requests.
We typically can be found showing these great items off in the video stream of our shows.
Also, to help with our new format, we're doing YouTube video shows that help create the audio version. We have a GoFundMe campaign underway at gofundme.com/COLstream.
This campaign allows us to afford upgrading the PC that Jeff uses to produce our shows. Plus, a better computer means better quality stream.
And thanks in advance for not only listening to Cubs Out Loud, but helping support the podcasts too.
So, that would have had some extra content in it, but I forgot to update it. So, in any case, so guys, as I say every week, what are you wearing?
Nothing here.
Wow, you're naked?
Purple.
No, kidding. At my version 2 logo shirt on. Gary, I believe you're wearing something.
I'm wearing my fun chocolate brown hoodie sweatshirt with the logo on it. So yeah, there's that.
Yay!
And of course, we have our store with smashy stuff. And actually, which is a work in progress, but in our collections, we have a brand spanking new collection, the Drag Race collection. Which I haven't gotten everything up and running, but so far I've got fanny packs, a fold-over clutch, a couple of mug versions, and a mini clutch. Because, you got to exit purse first, right? So you need a purse.
Nice.
Eventually there'll be
Bob
t-shirts.
the drag queen.
So
season 8.
Look, that's the only thing I remembered, so that's what I made. Live with it.
All good.
It's fine.
All right. So let's get right into this. Damon, what's been going on over in the YouTubes?
So we have some new subscribers. We have Elizabeth B, Ginger Tea Time, Tyler Minaj, Chris Andrus, and our favorite name ever. I don't understand why Google let your name be this long. Welcome.
With no spaces.
With no spaces. All one word.
Although
it is after.
I swear there was a space at the between this and long, like that full first part was the first name and long was the last name.
Maybe it is. Who knows? Whatever. Anywho, we also have a comment from Fur and Teeth after episode 459. Rest in peace, bearunderground.net. Too bad such a great site felt the need to reboot and screw itself out of biz.
Rude. Rude. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can see what he means here, but that was a very rude way of saying it.
Oh, like we've never said anything on this podcast that others would find rude or offensive.
Yeah.
So
I will just.
I'm sorry. I had a spot in my heart for Bear Underground, and just anything like this hurts.
I could understand, really, like rude. You know, Jeff, you've been a big supporter since the beginning with Ian and, you know, Phil and that, and I agree. But when they made the decision to do, you know, their new version and some, you know, reformatting because of the way the direction they were planning to go, you know, they took away some features that people just didn't really like, and I think that's what's left a lot of sore, you know, opinions out there about some stuff. And
yeah, but you don't have to be rude about it.
Again,
really,
everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Does anyone want to look at Twitter and like pay attention to the person that's in charge of our government?
Yeah.
So
anyway,
I think we just live in a day and age where people feel.
Do you want him as a role model?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not surprised. I'm not really. I know.
All I'm saying is I felt like it's rude. I actually didn't want to read that, but I left it alone.
Well, that's
so. Moving on to Tumblr. We do have a couple new Tumblr followers. Gay Bear MTL, which stands for Montreal, because I looked. Faffy Waffle 518, Robert Dre Garcia, BK Dad 72, Ursa Major, that's MAJR, and Bear is my food. And we don't have any Tumblr comments and nothing from Twitter.
All right. With that, I think it's time to go into our main topic. In celebration for a basketball thing that happened last month. You know, like a very madness sort of thing that happened in March. Because of reasons, can't really say.
All right, so I don't obviously follow this. I don't understand how it works. It makes no sense to me. And the only question I have at this moment is this anything like the Superb Owl, where there's a trademark shit and you're not allowed to say what the name of it is?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oy.
Basically. Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yay, sports.
Expensive sports.
Sports ball. Put the thing in the other thing.
So what you've probably seen recently.
Get the points.
So something that has happened recently on like Facebook and stuff is people have been showing these Disney brackets and trying to figure out what they want. Well, guess what? It is time for the Cubs Out Loud Disney bracket. Hey, and guess what? I have a visual for this if I get the right screen up here. Here we go. So over at the Magic Castle Stadium, Chester, how has the battle been going?
Okay. So the first set of movies that are going to go head to head against each other. Now, mind you, there's 64 of them in total. And yes, we know that there's way more movies than the 64 that we've selected or that I found. But that's going to take way too long. So we're just going to run through the list of movies that are on this list, and then we're going to jump forward to where we start knocking them out. But these ones are considered the gold and silver, or the classics era of Disney movies. We have Snow White, Saludos Amigos, Peter Pan, The Jungle Book, Bambi, The Sword in the Stone, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Cinderella, Three Caballeros, 101 Dalmatians, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Fantasia, and Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh.
Gary?
I thought we wanted to go like through each section and figure out to explain one and stuff. But...
No.
Okay, guess not. We're going into Group B. Gary in the Renaissance era at the Hollywood Coliseum. Gary, what's been going on over there?
What am I reading?
The first 16 in the list.
All right. So I'm reading bottom left corner. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, you people. All right. We have Beauty and the Beast, The Brave Little Toaster, Tarzan, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Little Mermaid, Pocahontas, Mulan, The Fox and the Hound, Aladdin, Robin Hood, The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Rescuers, The Lion King, The Aristocrats, Hercules, even though I never saw it, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Or The Hunchback of Notre Dame, as it's written there, but that's okay. Damon, what's been going on in Tomorrowland Park?
Oh, God. So we have the modern era of Disney films, and of these films, there are Moana, Chicken Little, Lilo and Stitch, The Princess and the Frog, Tangled, A Goofy Movie, Wreck-It Ralph, Treasure Planet, Zootopia, Brother Bear, The Emperor's New Groove, Bolt, Frozen, Atlantis, Big Hero 6, and Meet the Robinsons.
And over in Pixar Arena, we have our classic Pixar movies. We have Toy Story, Monsters University, Wall-E, Inside Out, Toy Story 3, A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., Finding Dory, Up, Brave, Toy Story 2, Ratatouille, Coco, Cars, Finding Nemo, and, of course, The Incredibles.
Cool.
I love the fact that Jeff is getting so into this.
Yay!
I'm
And the
trying
rest
to
of
make
us
this fun. Well, you're being grumpy Gus, Gary, so that's fine.
Anyway.
I'm going to own I'm grumpy because I don't fucking understand this shit. So, like, we're just doing it. Whatever.
Okay, so like I said earlier, there are a lot of movies to go through. So what we had done is Gary, Damon, and myself, we went through and picked our favorites and whittled them down through round 2 and then all the way to round 3. And now we're going to decide the winners for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals.
Okay.
So, just to catch you up, over at Magic Castle Arena, we had moving on to round 2 with Snow White, Peter Pan, Baby, Pinocchio, Cinderella, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, and Fantasia. There was an upset.
Sleeping Booty.
I'm sorry. That has to be already a porn that's out there.
Sleeping Booty.
Sleeping Booty.
With an upset in the first group, Peter Pan beat Snow White. Pinocchio beat up that dear Bambi. Lucilla stomped on Lady of the Tramp. And Fantasia was fantastic, beating Sleeping Beauty. So moving on into our first grouping. Who's making it to the quarterfinals? We're talking Peter Pan versus Pinocchio.
I'm going to go with Peter Pan because he can fly.
Ooh, that's a good one there. Pinocchio lied a lot, so that probably was he did kind of, wasn't he a bit of an ass too?
Oh my God. Oh. Wow.
So I'm gonna agree with you. I would definitely agree with you, Peter Pan. I'm actually it should be considered the impartial judge on this, but these are movies I've actually seen, so. So
Gary, my
you got
next?
2 for Peter Pan.
Gary.
All right.
Peter Pan or Pinocchio?
Pinocchio.
Damon?
I'm gonna go with Peter Pan.
And
the
Peter
main,
Pan wins.
Yeah, the main reason I'm going with Peter Pan is Pinocchio is kind of racist. So, yeah.
Is it really?
There's a part in. I mean, there's the. Oh no, that's Dumbo. Never mind. Well, still, there's a little issue. Anyway,
I knew Dumbo had a little bit.
Yeah.
Tinge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where my bracket kind of fell with that one because when I went through and like was picking through, I was like, oh, Dumbo versus Pinocchio. Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
So we got Cinderella versus Fantasia. The fantastic music anthology, or a princess who loses a shoe and carriage turns into a pumpkin.
Okay, so I know before we went live, we were discussing about featurettes and everything like that, and Fantasia fits in that category because it's not really a feature-length film. It's a collection of smaller features.
But it was feature-length for the whole thing.
Yeah. But I'm going to go with Fantasia because it married music with images, and it was, one of the first cartoons to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I will also go with Fantasia. I have very strong, when I was going through this was also going with the idea of memory and what I remembered most and what I found the most memorable, not just because I enjoyed it. And Fantasia, there are a lot of parts of it that I really enjoyed, and it got me really into classical music. So
The Sorcerer's Apprentice? That was one of the pieces in the original Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Gary.
So this is Cinderella versus Fantasia?
Yeah.
Fantasia.
Okay.
So there's our...
All right. So moving on into the Renaissance era. Oh, you took out my parks. I'm sad.
Oh, maybe even.
Anywho.
Anyways, this was Hollywood Coliseum. We've got Beauty and the Beast versus Mulan. Never seen Mulan.
So, okay.
And I've seen the
David,
live action version of Beauty and the Beast.
Why don't I lead you?
Yes.
Gosh, this one's a little tough. I will go with Mulan.
Gary.
Beauty and the Beast.
So you're the tiebreaker, Chaser.
I'm going to go with Beauty and the Beast as well for one simple scene, and that was when they were dressed to the nines in the ballroom with Mrs. Potts singing, and there was the scene where the camera spun around them and went up above, and that was beautiful to me. Even thinking about it, I'm about ready to tear up.
Makes me want to pull it off my DVD rack to watch it.
You can watch it after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Mulan, so it looks like Beauty and the Beast wins that round.
Okay.
Moving on to a really tough one, in my humble opinion. So are we one jump ahead of the breadline, one swing ahead of the sword with Aladdin? Or Hakuna Matata with The Lion King? I at one time watched our VHS cassette of The Lion King over and over and over for hours on end. as soon as we got it. I
Your
love
poor
that. But
rewinder.
I still have this thing for Aladdin. In fact, at one point in time, that beginning monologue after the song with the vendor guy. Saddam, good evening to you, dear friends. Please, come closer.
Okay.
Too
Got
close. Oh, too close. There.
May
I had that
Robin
entire.
Williams rest in peace.
In any case, he was. I always. I had that like memorized. So I had some like real fond memories of both of these movies. So this is a tough one if I was choosing, but I'm just the game master here. I'm just leading you through this bracket.
Yeah.
So since Chester started the first one, we're still at Damon. Damon's starting.
Yeah. I know.
Totally forgot.
So this one's I agree with you, Jeff, that this is a tougher one than most, but I will go with The Lion King.
Gary?
Aladdin.
And for the tiebreaker, Chester.
Fuckers.
What?
Oh gosh, it's really tough for me, because both of them are such amazing films, and both of them have great stories. I am gonna go with The Lion King because I have seen adaptations of The Lion King in many other forms. Particularly, I've seen the Broadway show twice.
Yeah.
When I go to Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World, I always go to the Festival of the Lion King, which is a incredibly condensed version of the movie. It's just a couple snippets of the songs, but it's one of my favorite things to do there. So I'm gonna go with The Lion King.
To be fair, the Aladdin is also on Broadway.
Correct.
I just have never seen it.
So because you haven't seen it, therefore it automatically doesn't get a chance.
No,
I've seen Aladdin the cartoon. What I'm saying is I've seen more different adaptations of The Lion King
that he enjoys.
So it holds a stronger place in my heart.
Never mind. Go ahead.
You're like, I lost this round.
No, it's imbalanced. That's like, I'm going to pick Rent over Wicked because I've seen Rent 12 times and I've seen Wicked 6 times. It's already skewed. Like, you already have an internal favorism based on what you just said.
Well,
that's why I'm like, what?
Yeah,
because you've seen it in more. Well, then just say it's your favorite and just pick it. Like, you don't have to define it by the quantity factor.
Well, it's one of the things reasons that he chose it. So that's fine. It's fine. However you deem to choose it. All right, moving on over into the modern era over at Tomorrowland Park. Gary, we're going to start with you. Is it Lilo and Stitch versus Wreck-It Ralph?
As if there's any question on this.
Can I guess? I'm going to guess Wreck-It Ralph.
You would guess correctly.
Because of Ralph.
That is one factor, but I really like.
Factor.
There's a thirst factor, but the reality is that Wreck-It Ralph is my estimation, because I haven't seen it, kind of like Ready Player One. It brings a lot of properties together. So there's like cute callback kind of stuff. Penelope is an obnoxiously annoying but cute character. So Jane Lynch as the, soldier commander. I don't know. So there you go.
Okay.
Chester?
I am also going to go with Wreck-It Ralph because of those callback factors. Watching that movie and seeing things happening online, like when he's walking through the train station and he bumps into Cubert, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's Cubert! And you just get all excited and giddy because of these little tiny things in that movie that are pulling from your childhood. And that's exactly the point of that, of why it makes movies like that so well done, that it appeals to adults as well as kids. So yes, Wreck-It Ralph.
Damon.
Well, I technically lost anyway, but I would have chosen Lilo and Stitch.
And why would you have chosen Lilo and Stitch?
Well, to be honest, I technically haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Which is fair to say. No. Which is fair to say, because I'm going to reveal this. I've never seen Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And
both of you have some homework.
But Lilo and Stitch made it far for me in my personal bracket if I filled this damn thing out correctly. And that's only because I know who made it. So,
yeah.
Again, the thirst factor.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I picked Lilo and Stitch. I also really enjoyed, I love the story. I love it's another one of those ones that have memories for me. Granted, I wasn't in like younger. I was younger, but I wasn't like in like elementary or middle school. It was definitely I remember that movie coming out, and I remember the buzz behind it. I remember the story, and I just really liked it. And
Elvis.
It gives us that. Well, yeah, and Ohana means family and all of that stuff. Like, it's just one of those big things for me. So there we go.
All right. Thirst factor wins that one. Moving on into Zootopia versus, I think this is supposed to be Frozen.
Oh, yeah, that's... no. What is that supposed to be? Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah, the live chat is all like, where did Wall-E come from? There's a discrepancy.
Right. I'm reading and I'm like, what do you mean, where did Wall-E come from? It's a very popular Pixar film.
We haven't hit Pixar yet.
I'm like scratching my head trying to figure out what everybody in the live chat is talking about.
I didn't even notice that it was typed in there wrong. That's all right. We're fine. So anyways. So we got Zootopia versus Big Hero 6. Tubbs says that Zootopia gets the furry vote. This is Gary.
So wait, what am I choosing between?
Zootopia and Big Hero 6.
Or Big Hero 6.
Fuck. Obviously that's not how my bracket went.
I mean, really it comes down to, do you find Baymax more attractive, or do you find Clawhauser more attractive?
Wow.
No, that doesn't have anything to do with it this time for me. Big Hero 6 did not thrill me. Storyline-wise, it didn't really seem all that exciting. Bunch of kids get together. We have this like sidekick that's a big marshmallowy thing that's kind of cute and cuddly. Get it. But the resolution is obviously something like they have to beat the bad guy. So it's like every other superhero movie.
Yeah.
So
but come on, that one scene.
Well, let
where
him finish.
Sorry.
Let him finish.
You know, and so like, and then Zootopia. Don't get me wrong, I really liked it. It was really fun. It was very visually eye candy, like almost diabetic coma-ish. Like bright colors, like the whole Giselle and the dancing gay tiger thing. The whole feeder issue with Clawhauser and donuts, and the bull that's a captain that Tumblr has turned into a whole sub-series of porn that I keep sending to a certain person because I'm evil like that. No, I don't know. Like, so I think I was like trying to figure out the mystery more in Zootopia, like what was really going on and how things were being handled. Because there was a weird kind of like Animal Farm, like what's happening behind the scenes and who really controls things and stuff. So, yeah, Zootopia. for me.
I'm going to. I agree with Gary that with Big Hero 6, I've seen that movie before. It's very Marvel-esque in the way that they have that. I've mentioned it before. They have this formula for superhero movies, and this just happened to be a new cartoon version of a superhero movie.
And
so
a Marvel
I'm going to
property.
go. Yeah, I'm going to go with Zootopia. And mostly because of all the little tiny callback things that go on during that movie. The signage in the movie, if you look at it, it's all very pun-based off of real life signs and logos and businesses. And to me, that it made it really fun. Plus, I think it has a very good overall story to it. On top of that, it allows kids to be very aware of people are different and everybody needs to be respected. So it has really good messages.
Yeah, I would just jump in real quick and say, Chester, that I think it does deliver a really good message about just because you're underestimated doesn't mean you can't achieve what you want to do. Like in terms of what is it, Hopper?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I just realized the reason why I like Zootopia more is there's this whole like replay of how things really went. Like this is really
right.
what's been going on and so that mystery aspect in them explaining things, I think I always prefer, like, as opposed to, I don't know. I don't feel like I got beat over the head as we went along. It was so obvious as to what the hell was happening. So anyways, Damon.
So, again, I've kind of already been defeated, but I went with Big Hero 6. I have seen it. I enjoyed it. I'm a Marvel fan, although of these two, I wouldn't have picked either personally. They didn't make it far in my bracket, and only because of other reasons. But I preferred the story, and for me, there's a lot of stuff that was more memorable for me in Big Hero 6. Although I really personally didn't like what they did with Big Hero 6, but I liked overall what they did over Zootopia.
For what they did.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Big Hero 6 was near the end when Baymax was about to, send our hero back in the world, and he says, "Are you satisfied with my care, Tyr?"
Yeah, like I said, it's a very. I like what they did. I just didn't like what they did. If you know, if you know the comic, this is very.
It's very different than the comic.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, Damon. I kind of agree with you in that when I don't obviously read comic books, so I didn't know anything about it being a Marvel thing, and then I saw the backlash of like people who were aware of the storyline and didn't like what was done with it. And that bothers me in that there's really this litmus test. Either you get it right or it's just wrong. So, like, if you come up with a whole new property concept, a new story that doesn't exist, people can go into it more neutral. But if it already exists out there somewhere, like Ready Player One as an example, to call back to the movie thing, there's so many people that are having a conniption about that movie. And because it doesn't match the book and blah, blah, blah. And I think that's part of the problem is it's unfair to the property if you either you be true or you don't be true. I realize it's not always possible, but that's a crappy thing.
Of the thing, that was the thing I didn't like the most when I saw it, was that, like, oh my god, they have taken a whole shit ton of the characters in Marvel and done this complete bullshitty kind of thing with them. But taking the movie in what it is, leaving everything else out of it, I liked it more.
Charles made a good point in the chat, and he said Big Hero 6 delivers a good message for those suffering of depression, and it does do that.
Yeah.
By no means are we discounting saying that Big Hero 6 sucked. It's just we're having fun with this, and it just
I agree. Like on the technology wise, I thought it was pretty cool. And the opening of the movie, I was like, wow, this is such a cool looking city thing, because it's a mashup.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Tokyo.
But then
Tokyo.
I think some of that kind of shininess wore off for me. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh.
It's very quickly
middle act or something that just kind of.
Oh, well. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Moving on into the next bracket. We've got 2 in the same franchise.
Yeah.
Monster University versus its predecessor, Monsters, Inc. Who will win in this battle at the Pixar Arena? Chester?
Ooh, girl.
This is a really tough one for me because both of them have really great qualities about them. But I'm going to go with Monsters University. Simply because I think it was more humorous.
Okay. I am going to go with Monsters, Inc. Sorry, Gary. It was one of the ones that it's a nostalgia thing more than anything else. I really liked the movie when it came out. I loved what they did with it. I loved the creativity behind it. The story of the monsters under the bed kind of thing and making it like this corporation was kind of this really cool thing back in the, when it was out. And I really liked that. And while the university movie was good, this one to me edges out at the end.
It was a sophomore slump.
Womp womp. Gary, how about you?
Well, my pick didn't make it, obviously, to this round because I didn't really have to pick between these two. Well, I guess I'll have to go. One of them did. I guess I'll have to go with the one that did. I'll go with Monsters, Inc.
Okay. All right.
First one's the best one. And now for a tough one, in my opinion. Ratatouille versus Coco.
This is one of the most difficult things on this entire list for me.
This is the easiest choice I had to make. Sorry. Sorry.
I am so amused by the dichotomy of you two.
Wait a minute.
This is funny.
Okay. That's all I gotta say.
Go ahead, Chester.
I loved Ratatouille. It is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love the storyline, the fact that it deals with cooking. It's in Paris. I love the actors in it. I fucking bawl at the point where Ego gets that call back to his childhood, and then the whole movie wraps up at the end. Like, it's so special to me. And when I was in London, I went and seen a symphony orchestra perform the music to it while it was playing on a big screen. So that was awesome for me. And then you've got Coco, which is fresh in our brains. It's brand new. The storyline is so beautiful. The film is beautiful to watch. It's just, it's such a hard choice for me. But I'm going to go with Ratatouille.
Okay. I am also going to go with Ratatouille. And the main reason is that I have not seen Coco yet. Yes. Okay.
Wait a minute.
I don't watch. if it's been out in the last like 4 or 5 months. I haven't seen it yet. I just don't have the capability of getting there that often. So Coco, I want to see it. Don't get me wrong, and I will see it. And it actually made it into my bracket, even though I hadn't seen it.
So,
mostly because.
Quick question for you.
Go ahead.
How are you with subtitles?
How am I with subtitles? Fine.
Okay. I recommend when you watch it to watch it in Spanish.
Interesting. I'll think about that.
There was this entire conversation we had at work about, I mean, it wasn't like a long conversation, but we had a conversation about Coco, or they were having, actually it was like, they were having, like some of my coworkers right next to me were having this conversation about Coco, and I have a Peruvian manager and a Latino AEP, one person was right top of us, and they mentioned how it was so good in Spanish, and I'm like, well, now I need to get this movie, and immediately put it on iTunes then. And then when we had some downtime, I put it on, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this in Spanish because they said it was really good in Spanish with the subtitles. And just for some reason, I mean, I would have to confirm by watching it in English too, but for some reason it felt more authentic because it is taking place in Mexico, I believe. So
yeah.
So it just felt more authentic to me for it. So when you do go watch it in Spanish.
I'll
and see what you
consider that.
I mean, you could maybe even do both. If you end up being like, I'm not sure about it here in Spanish, then watch it in English. But
I'll think about it. Gary?
So I do want to say this about Coco. I ended up renting it on Vudu. I had a free movie rental credit or whatever. I rented it on there. I watched it in English, but my Apple TV, I have a tendency to have closed captioning on. So because I'm working on other stuff and I'm trying to pay attention, so sometimes when I hear spoken stuff, I don't hear it clearly. So I want to see what they're actually said. And so I was like, oh, Coco was very interesting because some of Coco is still in Spanish in closed caption, even though it's the English version. So, while they're speaking Spanish, it's still sometimes showing up in Spanish below. It wasn't translated English in closed caption. So I was like, alrighty then. No, so I did see Coco probably in the past 2 weeks. It is absolutely gorgeous. It has a really good kind of message. I think there's something that you can see coming from a mile away. So that kind of bothers me a little bit about it, and the plot wise. I'm in the same camp as actually the two of you. I pick Ratatouille out of the two because it's probably the first movie I ever fell in love with from Pixar that I just absolutely am gobsmacked by. However, I did not see it in theaters. I saw it many years later as a rental, only because somebody chastised me and they said, I can't believe you love food so much and you've never seen this movie. And I was like, whatever. Like, so what? A rat wants to become a chef. Like, what's the big freaking deal? But it's really, really, really good. And I just really like the concept of Remy, and Patton Oswalt is the voice, and it's just... yeah, it's really good. It's really fun. So I really like the messaging of it. So, and it's funny because some of these movies I own, so that was obviously the easier pick. I already own it. And Ratatouille is one that I own. So, yep.
Yeah, I didn't see Ratatouille in the theater either. I actually saw it, separately later. Like you, Gary, I saw it later. Because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember when it came out. There's a gap in time when I was in college that I didn't see nearly anything in the theaters, mostly because I was at school. And yeah, so from 98 to 2002.
Right.
Cool. So Ratatouille gets that one.
So that means we've completed quarterfinals?
No, we completed round 3. We're now into the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So right. In the quarterfinals, going back to the Magic Castle Stadium, We've got Peter Pan versus Fantasia.
Shit.
So, fantasy versus flying
Fantasy.
boys.
Flying boys.
And Captain
It's an
Hook.
easy pick for me. Fantasia.
Well, yeah, it's an easier pick for me only because I can look at my bracket and go, oh yeah, that was right. That's where I ended up too. Fantasia. Gary.
It doesn't matter.
But
Well,
What
you
was
have
your
three,
answer?
so I'm like, we're done.
His didn't make it.
I said mine.
But out of Peter Pan and Fantasia, what was it? You're being pressured here. Come on.
Neither of them made it this far. That's the thing. Like, I didn't.
That
pick
doesn't
either.
matter. In
It
this
does to me
case.
because I don't like either of them that much. So
Done.
All right. Fine. Moving back to the Hollywood Coliseum, Beauty and the Beast versus the Lion King.
So at this point in my own personal bracket, it was Beauty and the Beast against Aladdin.
Same here.
Not here.
Shit. I'm gonna go with Beauty and the Beast.
Gary.
I'm gonna go with the Lion King.
As a tiebreaker, David.
Okay. This one was tough.
Mhm.
Only because I'm comparing the two movies against each other. Both have memories for me. However, on my own bracket, one won out over the other, and that was Lion King.
The Lion King wins this one. I personally would have picked Beauty and the Beast, but mainly because I probably was reminded of it because of the live action one that was recently that we saw.
Yeah,
which was amazing. I thought that was really.
I just really love Lion King. Has a weird place in my heart. I don't quite know why. Beyond more so than Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
Because Beauty and the Beast didn't even make it this far for me.
Moving back over to Tomorrowland Park, we've got a Thirst Pick versus Furries with Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia.
Boy.
I know what mine is.
God damn it. Wreck-It Ralph versus Zootopia. I will go with... God, that's hard. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with Zootopia.
Gary?
I'm going to go with Wreck-It Ralph.
Haha.
And Chester,
Little bastards.
tiebreaker.
Oh,
Furries
man.
or Thirst Pick? Are you
Well, I have a thirst pick in both of them. Clawhow's just cute. I'd give him some tail.
Wow.
Something.
Like you haven't already?
Oh. Ooh.
Is that a read?
Yeah.
I am going to go with Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh.
So Wreck-It Ralph wins that. Over in the Pixar arena, who is the last Pixar movie standing between Monsters, Inc. and Ratatouille? We'll start with Chester this time.
Ratatouille. That's pretty easy for me, Ratatouille.
Damon?
Because mostly because I didn't cry during Monsters Inc. Like, it's a happy movie at the end, but it doesn't pull on my heartstrings quite like Ratatouille does.
Damon?
Sorry, Gary. I'm going with Monsters Inc.
Okay.
Boo!
Sorry, because now
Ooh.
you have to break the tie.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
that's why. Yeah, that's why I said sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have to go with Ratatouille.
I would have gone with Ratatouille too. So far, the best Pixar movie is Ratatouille. Although I'm very surprised Toy Story didn't get further up, but that's just me. This is just me kind of like giving my commentary about it. It's not trying to affect it anything. Okay, so now we are... I'm not sure which stadium. This is on the Main Street Plaza. I don't know, something like that. Well, I need to zoom out just a little bit to get everything here. So, no, wrong way. 75%. There we go. Okay, so I'm trying to make it so people can see what we're looking at. Okay. So over here between the modern era or the Golden Silver Age and the Renaissance of Disney animated films, we have Fantasia versus The Lion King. So autistic versus story-driven.
Oh.
And I'll let whoever has an opinion first go ahead and just shout it out.
Wait, I'm confused because you don't have it written in on the bracket.
This does.
It should be Fantasia against Wreck-It Ralph, I think.
No,
it's supposed to be top and bottom.
It's supposed to be Fantasia and Lion King. It's just the way that the form looks.
Well, when
like
you get
Fantasia
into the
Wreck-It
center,
Ralph,
it gets weird. But Fantasia versus
But
Lion
it is Fantasia against Wreck-It Ralph.
Fantasia versus Lion King.
Or sorry, yes, Fantasia versus Lion King. Sorry.
Oh my God, you guys are killing me.
Well, it's hard to put this into a spreadsheet versus the visual appearance that was in the original image. So we need to edit things, and it was a little difficult with the image. So really, it's Fantasia versus Lion King. So it's column-wise.
It's a very difficult decision for me because both of them have very specific things about them that make them equally or make them great. For very different reasons.
Yep.
The Lion King tells a really great story and has wonderful music through it. And the characters are so relatable. But Fantasia was groundbreaking, in a manner of speaking, for what it did for animated films. It's a cinematic masterpiece. Even despite the animation in there not being, as great as it is today, but that's how technology works.
Yeah.
But it just because the animation was lackluster and kind of basic compared to today, it doesn't devalue what it did for the industry as a whole. I'm going to go with Fantasia.
Are you ready, Gary, or should I?
You can go.
Okay. Because in my bracket, these two actually made it to this point. So, and like Chester, I agree that Fantasia had a wonderful. It did something really great for animation in its time, and again, we've harkened back to the fact that it brought music, a lot of classical music and animation together. It was really good and well done. Lion King for me was like I said, it's a touchstone. It's a movie that I remember from childhood. It's one of my favorite movies of the Disney franchise, so it won out for me. So Lion King was my pick.
So Gary, you're the tiebreaker.
Well, that's exciting. So it's between Fantasia and Lion King?
Correct.
I'm going to go with Lion King.
The Lion King is the winner. Pardon us while we make some mild edits to the thing. Great idea, Chester. So, moving on to the other side, the modern era versus the Pixar films. Wreck-It Ralph versus Ratatouille.
I'll actually go first on this one. I feel of the two, I will go with Ratatouille. I liked what they did. I loved the story. I loved everything about it. And while I'm a geek in some senses, I'm not as big. I'm a food geek more than I am a gamer, like game geek. And while I liked what Wreck-It Ralph did, I loved what Ratatouille did. So Ratatouille is my pick out of these two. Even though it wasn't the one that made it in my bracket.
Go ahead, Gary.
Why?
Because I've already made up my mind. Unless you're going to say something that would change it.
This is your last chance.
Just press me and save yourself from elimination.
I'm assuming that was a Drag Race callback.
Yes. It is, yeah. Yeah, mine didn't obviously come together this way. Oh, wait, or did it? It did, but I don't know. I feel bad because either all three of us are going to agree or one of us is going to be the tiebreaker, but we don't know who the tiebreaker is going to be.
Here's the thing is, if it's all three, that's fine. It's either all three or a tiebreaker, so whatever you say.
Right, I don't know what Chester's pick, so I don't know if I would be a tiebreaker or if we would be in agreement.
So don't even think about that. Just what is your opinion? Wreck-It Ralph or Ratatouille?
I chose Ratatouille.
I chose Ratatouille as well.
All right, so all three matched.
As wonderful of a movie as Wreck-It Ralph is, if you stick both of them in front of me, I'm probably going to go with Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Even though I think that I relate more on a personal level with Wreck-It Ralph, just because I love watching it and I like seeing the little things that pop up, and like Jane Lynch being Halo-esque in that movie, and just her lines, and it's typical Jane Lynch, and I think it's hilarious. It's just, I think when it comes down to it, I got to go with where my heart is, and that's Ratatouille.
All right.
And
so
now
there we go.
They have to lip sync for their life. I don't know what's supposed to be. Lip sync for your legacy. That's what it is. I think it is. Okay. So we got the Pixar film with rats or lions.
Or the animated film with lions.
It's an easy choice for me.
It is not an easy choice for me.
It's very easy for me, and that's Ratatouille.
So there we go. So one vote for Ratatouille. Gary.
I'm gonna abstain.
Bitch!
What?
Because okay, well then, if you're abstaining, so be it. I'm picking Lion King, so Jeff, you get to pick the winner.
Okay, so we've got
Ratatouille.
So we got Lion King and Ratatouille, and we got Chester with Ratatouille and Damien with The Lion King.
Gary abstains.
Gary abstains, so we do need a tiebreaker on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to with Ratatouille for this reason.
Oh.
I'm going. The thing is I have Lion King more in my mind, but Ratatouille to me is because I really haven't seen it in forever, but I just remembered how good it was. I just remember just absolutely loving that movie. And every time somebody brings it up, I'm like, oh, I totally need to watch that again. Plus, it has food, which is also a designer thing. And I have a thing for food and cooking. Hey, I just watched an entire animated series about a culinary competition-ish school called Food Wars. I absolutely adore Iron Chef. I kind of wish I had the Food Network. I'm a huge Alton Brown fan. I'm going with my stomach on this one.
So I love the comments in our chat. Gary doing a Bendela move.
That was not the intent, but I was highly amused by that when I read that.
Yes. So I guess we should say now, Gary, are you going to do a BB and not say anything at all and not give us your response, even though your tie has been broken? Are you gonna do that? So I don't have a Shade fan, but I'm gladly swap it for you.
All right, so I will say this: I like both of these films a lot. One of the things I love the most about The Lion King is the message about like what you think is not always necessarily the case. Sometimes you have a destiny and it will be calling to you no matter whether you like it or not. It will come. And it has a unannounced gay character in it that is kind of sassy. Well, actually, there's two of them, both of them are British. And so, yeah, like that puts it in certain columns like that. I really kind of like that about it. On the other hand, Ratatouille really kind of speaks on a level about it's one of the missions of showing the audience like you can have a dream and you can pursue it and you can achieve it, and that there will be hurdles or challenges along the way and you may not necessarily know how to get past them, but you will survive. You know, you will be able to move on and still be successful. So, for me, I'd have to go with the one that I own, which is Ratatouille.
Oh, you don't own Lion King? Because I don't own Ratatouille, but I do own Lion King. So
yeah, I don't own many DVDs. Like, I think I maybe own 30 total.
You don't want to see my
12 of them are porn.
Womp womp. Yeah. Anywho, but yeah, so interesting.
So, if you want to get Ratatouille, you can get it on Amazon for $16.99 for the digital. Ooh. If you want to buy it, which is $3 cheaper than iTunes. But if you set up your Movies Anywhere account, you can buy it on Amazon and watch it on through iTunes. Or
Nice.
now you could just buy it on Amazon and just watch it through the Amazon Prime app.
Or you could go on eBay and just buy yourself a used copy for way cheaper, like pennies on the dollar,
Okay.
and still have a official copy of your own.
Yeah, so now
Well,
I
there you
have
go.
Ratatouille is now in my digital library everywhere. So I'd connect all my
Good for you.
So
And I heard, I have to double check on this. I think it's iTunes, so Vudu. One of the streaming channels, I believe, has this new option that you can. It's called disc to digital, where if you own something on DVD and you put it in, they will scan it, and like I guess there's something in the codec or whatever, and then they'll know that you officially have it. Maybe it's Amazon, and then you automatically have the digital version available to you.
Interesting.
I think
And I was
Vudu.
like, yeah, and I was like, oh, they
Voodoo.
all need to do this, because to me that's pretty damn cool.
It says for limited
Voodoo.
time?
Convert your Blu-ray or DVD to digital with Voodoo to go on your computer or laptop. Unlock your collection just to get access to your movies from the cloud.
I believe there's a cost to it though.
Eh,
I will pay $10 to do it.
It is for DVDs. It's $2 for standard def, $5 for HDX, and Blu-rays is $2 for high definition. If you've already gotten on Blu-ray, you get the high def for cheaper.
Yeah,
I guess
so
it's kind of
Buy
like an
that for
upconvert
$2.
sort of
here's
thing.
here's the thing for me. What I don't like about this is it forces you to keep splitting your collection up, and I phrase it that way because like I own stuff on iTunes, I own stuff with Amazon. And like already that's two things. And it annoys me because I have to remember which service for streaming has what. So the fact that I would be putting stuff up into Vudu is like another branch of that. And I'm just like, really? Can we not just have one? Where I can just go to one and that's where all my shit is all the time?
That's what Movies Anywhere is for.
Anyway,
Movies Anywhere, you connect your iTunes, your Amazon, your Vudu account. And if you have purchased the movie in one place, you can watch on any of those other platforms.
cool.
Well, I guess we know what Jeff's pick is.
It is not my pick for the day, but it related. But hey, I could probably actually pull it up so everybody else can see it here. Movies Anywhere. And there's an app for it on Apple TV and I'm sure other things, so you can watch it through that app or you can watch it through your favorite thing. iTunes, Prime Video, Vudu, Google Play, and Fandango Now are the partners for it. There's no subscription fee. Just connect up your thing and create an account and connect your Movies Anywhere account to it, and instantly it syncs between all of them. I actually did that with some of my Star Wars movies. I bought it on Amazon instead of iTunes because it was a couple bucks cheaper. So I bought mine on Amazon, but I can watch it in my iTunes. So, anyways,
That's good to know.
neat little thing.
Good to know. Neat little thing.
So that is our bracket. So let's talk about porn. I'm calling this bulging belly. So it's so you could say it kind of as it sounds kind of like bulging belly, but it's a nice belly and a nice bulge.
Yes, it is. And he's got pierced nipples. It looks kind of familiar. I know he's headless, but it looks kind of familiar.
Yeah, and I will admit the source of this just posted it, but I think I don't know who this actually is.
It's stolen.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is, but the person from the source, that's all they do is steal photos and repost them
I
without credit.
reblogged it via the Underwear Bear, so.
So is it? Okay, huh? Okay, yeah. Never mind. I'm going to go down a hole if I keep going to find the source. Anyway,
You're not going to.
yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Like I was good. I was like, and no, it's just going to keep going. Well, anyway, there we go. It's a nice picture.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice looking guy. Well, what you can see of him.
Yeah. Nice bulge, nice belly. Damon?
So speaking of bellies and bulges, I called this, well, he titled it Wannabe Bull. This is actually from Faffy Waffle 518. And it's a really great picture of him sitting on some stairs, shirtless, and he's hot and yeah, very handsome. He actually reached out to me after I had reblogged his picture, and I'm gonna see what he said. He said, "Thanks for showing the love, man. I've been a fan of the podcast for years. I listen to it all the time during work, low volume, of course." So
Nice.
He's a fan as well. So I was, I really like the picture, and I'm glad I reblogged it because he's hot and he's also happened to be a fan of the show. So thank you, Faffy Waffle. Hope you will enjoy this episode.
If he made it through all the bracket
Yeah.
bullshit or whatever. I'm
Sorry,
just saying, like, if
it's
this
really
isn't your
salty in
thing,
here.
I could see people would be like, "Oh, whatever." So I don't know.
Anyway, Chester. Oh, what is this?
I titled mine Slow-Mo Piss Play, and I'm not sure, but I have a feeling I may have picked this one before because
I believe you have.
I love it so much. I mean, look at it. It's just
Nope.
the dick that's visible is beautiful. Visible. It's thick. It's veiny. It's uncut. The other gentleman, his mouth, he looks like he would be a very handsome individual.
Yeah, this is probably, if I remember correctly, you probably either shared this or one of us shared this during our water sports episode.
Quite possibly. But it's very appropriate. In the water sports episode, at least.
Yes.
And hey, it's fine. You can always like pick something again. It just means you like it.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on to the links. So by now, if you haven't heard, beerunderground.net has gone down. I believe we actually talked about this early in the show. But have no fear. You can still get apparel at beerunderground.com. So Ian and Phil, despite no longer having a social network, they now are going into the vending arena because they've really enjoyed going to vend at events and such. So they're going to keep the apparel lines going. So they've got right now limited for right now, but I'm sure they'll expand it. The actual Bear Underground name, I think, has been taken off of a couple of their Bear Underground stuff, but they kept some of the actual paw and that sort of thing. And they've got a couple things they're trying to close out and get rid of, and I'm sure they're going to be adding some new stuff. Zach Altibear has gotten their military cap. He picked one of those up at the last event. I don't remember what that event was.
NAB.
NAB? Okay.
Yeah.
And they've got some regular paw caps and such, actually. So, for all intents and purposes, let me actually switch over so people can see this. Here we are. Now people can actually see it. For all intents and purposes, they're competitors, but we're not putting them against them. I still want to support them. So, close out, as you can see, some the Bear Paw jock strap. I have that one. the black one. They also have a rainbow jock strap as well. $7. Check that out. And then they still got their bear paw t-shirts and tanks. As I said, the military hat, the paw caps, and the mesh cap. 2 different versions. So, keychains, bumper stickers. Check it out.
Sweet. And we're quiet.
So moving on, Chester, what do you got?
Mine is very related to our topic today. I labeled it Topics to Avoid with Tom Anderson. If you don't know who Tom Anderson is, he was very popular on Vine videos. He's very popular on YouTube. He's kind of hipstery. I believe he's gay. If he's not gay, he's definitely hinted at the fact that he's very bisexual, whatever the case may be. But in this video, it is basically topics to avoid with your friends, and he, it starts off very innocently, but then he starts talking about, sorry, I don't know what was going on with my video. But then he starts talking about Disney movies, and all of his friends start attacking one another because they are very opinionated about which movie is their favorite.
Yeah.
So it's very relevant to today's episode.
Yeah. Very true. I'll have to look at that later. I think it's one of those things where, well, hell, we were looking at it when we started the podcast and we showed the bracket. Like, people in the chat were like, "What the fuck? What about this? What, like, how do that?" I'm like, yeah. Disney is a very, everyone has their, well, we've said everyone has their own opinions. So yes, I mean, but also everyone has their things that they really enjoy and love about, especially something that is so universal. And Disney, believe it or not, is actually one of those universal things. So.
Right, and we all have our different reasons for liking different movies.
Yeah.
And it's like I said earlier, I'm not discounting any of the movies that you guys picked as, bad movies or anything. It's just some movies hold a higher place in my heart than others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Gary.
So mine is called Scoring the Last Jedi, a 360 VR experience. So, if you're not familiar with virtual reality stuff that's been happening on YouTube, it's kind of cool because you can watch it in like sometimes they'll do a 360 version. So if you have a mobile device, like a smartphone, and you watch a YouTube video that has this quality to it, you could actually very carefully in a safe space, like your living room or someplace with a little bit of room around you, you can literally stand and kind of like take your device and spin around in a circle and stuff and watch and see like the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I've always loved John Williams as a composer. I love the fact that he was brought in for, to continuing the Star Wars legacy with the last trilogy, quote unquote. And then he was brought in for The Last Jedi. So I was like, this is pretty cool. So I watched it, the 360 version, and I was like, wow, this is pretty neat. Because they actually put it in like the middle of the orchestra, like, and on the edge. And then you get to sit like you're right at John Williams' feet, like in the front row. So if you were ever a musician, it kind of blows your mind. Now, this is also a VR experience. So if you have a virtual headset, a virtual reality headset of any sort, which I bought one super cheap on Amazon used. If you remember, the name goes out of my head. The viewers when we were the younger
a Viewmaster.
Yes.
Viewmaster.
So Viewmaster got smart and they made a virtual reality like Like it looks like a Viewmaster. I don't have it with me. It's down in the living room. But you put your phone in it, like, and you use it just like that. Now, it doesn't have the strap that it stays on your head and stuff, which is kind of because, you have to hold it up the whole time. But I got it because of the Elton John 360 VR, like, announcement of his tour. And that video was pretty cool. And I was like, it was worth, like, the $6 I spent for this stupid thing. And it's been sitting, and I've been like, I should probably just get rid of it, like, post it online for, a couple bucks, get rid of it. But then this video came out. And I was watching it in 360, and then I realized that there's a little icon and you can watch it in VR. And I was like, wait a minute. So I put it in, and then I stood in my bedroom and I nearly wept because it is so mind-blowing to watch it in VR and see, like, the casino for Canto Bight in the new movie and the other stuff that's going on, especially with the orchestra, with John Williams. And it's mind-blowing. It's amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So... I will say this. I don't want to spoil it, but if you watch this video, I want you to look for the one thing in the orchestra at the edge of a frame that is not supposed to be there. And I am so like, all right, I'm not sure what that's about. I want to talk to Ryan Johnson and be like, why is that here? Because that's not supposed to be here. It don't belong. I think it's kind of an inside joke on something. I don't know for certain. So, but if you watch the video, you might be able to kind of spot it. Because I was like, wait a minute, pause. I'm like, what the hell is that? I was like, that's not supposed to be there. But anyways, it's highly amused by it. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hey, guess what, folks? Today is technically payday. It is a new month. Which means if you haven't been, for those who are our lovely patrons at patreon.com/cubsoutloud, you should be charged either today or tomorrow. I'm not sure if they do it on Sundays. So we would like to thank all the people who have joined us over on Patreon and become our patrons. Remember, one of the advantages is you get all the shows a day early.
Our
earlier
patron
than
saints of Cubs Out Loud.
Yep. you get the shows a day early. Here's the Patreon. Forgot to bring that up before. And we have different levels. And remember, this is just like threshold. So you don't have to stick to that number. So if you want to just send us $8, you still get the Uber level. Or,
cool.
$10 is our largest tier, but you can go $20 if you want to. But as you can see, there's some patron-only posts here. All these are the episodes when we post them. As soon as I get them all put together and edited and everything, I post those up there. But the very next day is when everybody else gets it. So if you want to get them as soon as they're done. And for the Cubs Out Loud main show, you get the audio for the pre-show and post-show, which you do not get with the non-patrons. And just with DR, it's just a day early as soon as I'm done with it. So
cool.
And we're at $43 of our $50 goal for our monthly hangout show, where we invite patrons on. Or what were you going to do, everybody? I forgot. Well, we're going to have a Google Hangout where you come in, you chat with us about whatever you want. And maybe we'll have like some icebreakers and stuff like that. So thank you, all of our patrons. And with that, that's the end of the show. Oh. There are plenty of ways to contact us. You can pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Shoot us a voicemail at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can also email us a voice file message from your voice memo app if you want to. Join the COL Entourage on Telegram at tinyurl.com/telegram-COL. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, and of course, patreon.com/Cubs Out Loud. You can rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us through Google Play Podcasts, and give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio. You can find me anywhere on the internet as BoxThat, BoxPuppet, BoxCub, Box Something or other.
I am TheaterCoach79 on various bear sites and also pup_Umbra on Twitter.
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There. Nowhere else because I can't afford to go anywhere. Or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
If you want to get in touch with me online, just look for GareBear73. That's GARBEAR 73.
And with that, say good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good one, y'all.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to use a urinal.
Go for it. Very, man. Oh, I don't even know. I'm looking at my bracket and I'm like, oh, I thought my bracket was so good.
Me too.
See, I don't. I guess what I really didn't like about this, I'm going to own it for anybody who's still listening to the show, because this will be edited out later, I imagine. I just didn't like this idea of competition, like pitting movies against each other and like saying, that this one deserves like to be ranked above the other or whatever.
It's
I guess
just
that's really
for
where I
fun.
was just like, it is for fun, but I mean, like I was watching the live chat, people were like getting all bent on shit, and they were like, how could you do this and blah blah blah, and I'm like.
Because people are opinionated. They like what they like. And you guys pick different movies than myself. I'm not all bent out of shape for it. I'm very aware that my tastes are going to differ from other people's.
I know. I
definitely are, Chester.
I'm just not feeling it because it's Easter and I had to deal with family today. And I had to listen to political talk about the state of our country and where we are, and how one of my aunts feels that there's nothing wrong with decisions that are being made.
So there's that. So you had that kind of laying on you right before the show started.
So I was like, really? Whatever.
We were just grouchy beforehand.
Well, according to the chat, I was salty, Gary, and some people celebrated that Salty Gary was back, and I'm not sure that.
Like, sometimes Salty Gary can be fun,
or he could be a real bitch. So I don't know.
He was a real bitch.
Both is good.
I know. I was quite
Gary,
aware that I was super.
You're
crunchy,
a real bitch.
It's okay.
Right, what am I missing? Because I'm not looking.
I said, Gary, you're a real bitch.
Oh.
But no, yeah, it's fine. I think it was, again, when I look at like the brackets and things like that, and I go like, I get why like certain things were put against each other, but like like modern era, there was a lot of anime movies. Yes, they weren't Pixar, but it was computer animated stuff, and I'm like, it's hard to compare. And then some of the like just the original ones were just like, what the fuck? Like you put the adventures, like the adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad against Sleeping Beauty. Like,
to be fair, I'm not the one who did the lineup for these. When I first did this, I was originally just going to randomly pick them because I keep seeing these pop up in different ways.
Yeah.
Of other pop culture, and somebody had made one with diva music.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I'm looking at the list and it was like, who did I see on there that I was like, why are these two people against each other? It was like Beyonce and Robin.
Oh.
And it's like,
yeah.
That's not very fair. Why wouldn't you put Robin against, say, Kylie Minogue? To me, that's a better battle.
I think I think like in sports where this was basically primarily generated for sports tournaments, was people are seeded, so they're like, who is more likely to win?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they kind of split how I don't know how the seeds specifically work, but
the way that sports brackets work is they all get a certain amount of points and they get matched up with the people that are similar to their own. And as they battle
I've
it out,
usually seen it where it ends up being a mix where they kind of like somebody that's a higher seed fights against somebody who's in the lower seed.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to come together.
Which is kind of like when you looked at the original image, which had the numbers on it. That's what their seed was.
How are the NCAA brackets determined? Yay. Sorry. I'm just going to... When all else fails me, I go to...
Let's get facts.
Yeah. Let's get facts.
Let's get facts.
Yeah, like Chuck says in the chat, it usually is like the first seed versus the 16th seed.
Okay. Each member of the Division I men's basketball committee evaluates a vast amount of information during the selection process. Their opinions, developed through observation, discussions with coaches, directors of athletics, and commissioners, and review and comparison of data, ultimately determine selections, seeding, and bracketing.
Y'all talk about seed, and it's making me think of other things. Like maybe I need to go get in a quick workout.
Oh,
is that what you call it?
Well,
I do go there, and I do use the gym, and I've set myself a limit that I must work out for a steady 30 minutes. Even though they don't require you to, but that's my own personal
probably a good idea.
Requirement.
Because part of the reason why you're doing that is because you're trying because you want to use the gym.
Yeah.
And it's good if you're wanting to use the gym, you just get these extra benefits. But if you want to use the gym, it's good to just be like, look, before I can have my dessert, I've got to have my cake, which is the workout.
You got to have your dinner.
Steak.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Steak, not cake.
No, he just needs to work for his dinner.
There you go.
Or his lunch, whichever it is.
All right. I'm going to stop streaming.